predicting every NFL team's final record based on the regular season schedule. Potentially the most intriguing division in the entire American Football Conference is the AFC West. Starting out with the Denver Broncos 2023 schedule prediction. Let's go. Vegas week 1, dub. Washington week 2, dub. At Miami week 3, that is a loss. Week 4 at Chicago, win. Week 5 back home against New York, win. At Kansas City, week 6, they lose. Week 7 against Green Bay, they lose. Week 8 against Kansas City, they lose. Bye week. Week 10 against Buffalo, they lose. Week 11, Minnesota, home, Sunday night. Broncos win that game. Then they beat Cleveland. Then they beat Houston. Then they go on the road to Los Angeles. They lose that game. They go on the road to Detroit. They lose that game. They play New England at home. Victory. They play the Chargers in Denver on New Year's Eve. Beat them in the snow. And then they go to Vegas on January 7th to round out the season, and they get a victory, putting them at a final record of 10-7. I think 10-7 is very respectable for the Denver Broncos. They're going to play good defense. Sean Payton is a proven winner, and I think Russell Wilson does have a bounce back year to some degree. 10-7, I think, is very respectable for the Denver Broncos in 2023. Moving on, Kansas City. Dun, dun, dun. The Chiefs 2023 regular season schedule. Let's see. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, bruh, the guy's a freak. Let's go through it, man. Week 1, Detroit, win. Week 2, Jacksonville, win. Week 3, Chicago, win. Week 4 at New York, win. Week 5 at Minnesota, win. Week 6 against Denver, win. Week 7 against the LA Chargers at home, win. Week 8 against Denver, at Denver, doesn't matter, win. Week 9, Miami, win. Bye week, week 10, they're 9-0 going into the bye week. Guess what? Week 11, Philly comes to town on Monday Night Football. Loss. They lose that game. Fair enough. Vegas in week 12, win. At Green Bay, win. Buffalo at home, win. At New England, week 15, win. Vegas, week 16, win. Cincinnati, week 17, loss. At home, Cincinnati beats them at home. Chargers, week 18, they beat them, and they finish off the year 15-2, number 1 seed in the AFC. The Chiefs are crazy. Patrick Mahomes is crazy. Travis Kelce is crazy. 15-2 for the Kansas City Chiefs. Sin City, Las Vegas, 2023. Las Vegas Raiders. Schedule prediction. Jimmy G, meh. Devontae Adams is good. Josh Jacobs is good. But man, are the Raiders just one of those teams that they find the best possible ways to lose football games? That being said, Las Vegas Raiders 2023 regular season schedule. Here we go. Denver week 1, loss. Buffalo week 2, loss. Pittsburgh week 3, loss. Green Bay week 4, Chargers week 4, loss. Let's start it over again because, by the way, that is a tough schedule for the first 4 weeks. Las Vegas at Denver week 1, loss. At Buffalo week 2, loss. Pittsburgh, loss. At LA, loss. Week 5, they beat the Green Bay Packers at home, get their first win of the season. Then they go to get New England at home. They beat them. They go to Chicago in week 7. They lose. They go to Detroit in week 8. They lose. They play the New York Football Giants at home. Beat them. They play the New York Football Jets in week 10 at home. And they lose. They go to Miami in week 11. They lose. Kansas City in week 12. They lose. Minnesota in week 14. Loss. Then they play the Raiders, or they play the Chargers at home. They beat them. They play Kansas City in Kansas City. They lose. They play Indianapolis in Indianapolis. They lose. They play Denver week 18. They lose. I got them with a ton of losses. Man, do they have a tough schedule. 13 losses in all for the Las Vegas Raiders. That puts them at 4-13. Until they do something about Josh McDaniels, they will continue to be a wildly underperforming team. 4-13 for the Raiders. Last, but certainly not least, the LA Chargers. Brandon Staley, Justin Herbert, they got Eckler, they got all the boys. Let's get into the Chargers schedule for 2023. Week 1 versus Miami. That's a win at home. Week 2 at Tennessee. That's a loss. Week 3 at Minnesota. That's a loss. Week 4, Las Vegas Raiders at home. W. 2-2. Bye week. Dallas at home. They beat them. They play at Kansas City. Loss. They play against the Chicago Bears. W. They play against the Jets in New York. That's a loss. They play Detroit at home. Win. At Green Bay. Loss. Baltimore. Loss. New England. At New England. Loss. Denver at home. W. Vegas at Vegas. Loss. Versus Buffalo. Win. At Denver. Loss. Kansas City. Loss. It may be, there may have to be a correction in here. Their losses this year: Tennessee, at Minnesota, at Kansas City, at New York, at Green Bay, at New England, at Denver, Buffalo, Kansas City again, Baltimore again. They'll beat Detroit. I think I had them losing to Detroit. They'll beat Detroit. But guess what? That's 10 losses for the Chargers. That's a 7-10 record for the Chargers. What? Herbert? What? What's the, how do you, what are, Chargers are just like the Raiders. They find the most creative ways to lose football games. 7-10 for the Chargers. All in all, AFC West. Chiefs are in first at 15-2. Broncos in second at 10-7. Chargers in third at 7-10, and the Raiders are 5-12. Interesting, but I think it's legit.